What do you get when you put the best parts of Gossip Girl in a totally swoon-worthy Regency drama? Easy. A smash hit on your hands. Exactly like Netflix's Bridgerton. From ballroom romance to scandalous gossip sheets, it has a lot going for it. But Queen Charlotte and her wish to be entertained remain the highlight of the show. In today's video, we rounded up some of the best, literal queen moments from the queen herself. Let's start when the queen wore the biggest afro wig known to mankind. So it's no secret that most of the characters on the show have to wear sometimes really ridiculous wigs to look the part. From Daphne's prim and proper updos to Penelope's luscious ringlets, Bridgerton's hair and makeup team really goes all out. But Queen Charlotte's huge afro wig from The Art of the Swoon in Season 1 takes the wig cake. Though Her Highness has worn her fair share of stunningly big wig designs in almost every episode, the perfectly picked out crown of an afro wig was a class apart. It made sure everyone really looked at the proudly black queen in all her regalness. Of course, it came with the added benefit of protecting the royal brain, just in case she suffered any kind of impact. Between her wig and the ginormous ball gown, which we're sure weighs a ton, a royal fall isn't entirely out of question. We've gotta give props to Gold Rosheuvel for carrying all that weight like a true queen. Next, we have when Her Highness was so bored that not even a lady fainting in front of her was interesting. We all know there's one thing Queen Charlotte loves. It's scandalous entertainment. If you've already binged on the show, then you probably remember all the times Her Highness exclaims she's bored. But seriously, can we blame her? If we were stuck in a huge castle all by ourselves without the internet or Netflix, we'd be bored out of our minds too. No wonder she looks forward to Lady Whistledown's gossip column and, of course, the seasonal marriage market. But nothing can beat the first time we saw the queen with her classic seen it all expression. Let's go back to Diamond of the First Water in Season 1. Before she found her diamond in Daphne Bridgerton, she was flawless, but remember who wasn't so flawless? The Featherington girls. Her Highness was so unimpressed that she waved them off after a single glance. However, before they could take their leave, good old Prudence fainted thanks to her tightly laced corset. You'd think something like that would have leave her wide-eyed. A young miss fainting on the floor in the most unladylike manner in front of Queen Charlotte herself. Sounds pretty entertaining to us, but no. The queen took one look and went back to being bored AF. And now for when she wouldn't let her diamond settle with a low life like Nigel. Our queen's not one letting a young miss settle for anything less. And that's what makes this moment from Season 1 one of her best. Remember the time when Anthony was being a Class A jerk to Daphne? Though we wouldn't hold it against you if you didn't. Who'd remember anything other than the charming Duke of Hastings in The Duke and I? Anywho, here's a little refresher. Big brother Bridgerton was ready to send his sister off into matrimonial bliss with Nigel, but thankfully Queen Charlotte decides to have a little chat with Lady Bridgerton about this unlikely match. Safe to say Her Highness did not ship the duo, and if it weren't for her, Daphne could have been married to that weird man. We shudder just thinking about it. We guess we owe her a debt for giving us all those Simon and Daphne moments. Of course, there was the time when she shut down rumors about Kate and Anthony. What's the one thing Queen Charlotte does not like? Apart from Lady Whistledown's constant challenges, of course. When things don't go as planned, specifically according to her plans, she is the queen, so we guess she can be a total control freak. Who's gonna stop her? So imagine our surprise when she shut down the rumors about Kate and Anthony after they jeopardized her big fat wedding. Honestly, up until this point, we didn't know she'd ever shut down a rumor, especially since they're entertaining as heck. The Ton had the juiciest gossip after Edwina left Anthony at the altar, but the queen was having none of it. She took the blame for the wedding not going as planned, saying it was she who'd change her mind, and she also offered Edwina a match with the prince. How can we not like her? Next, we had when she laughed like a regular person on Eloise's awkward exchange. Queen Charlotte isn't a regular person. Well, for one, she's the queen, and second, let's just stick to she's the queen. But she does have her human moments every now and then. That is when she's not busy scheming or worrying about promising betrothals and grand weddings. Remember when Eloise met Her Highness? We're not referring to the first time when she looked like she'd pass out or have a stroke, only to be saved by the town's gossip girl. The second time they're acquainted, the queen's very chipper, even apologizes for the intrusion earlier. But that isn't why this moment's in our video. It's because of her absolutely unqueen-like laugh on Eloise's awkward comment about Emerald's being her favorite. It was refreshing and wholesome to see her amused at such a little thing. Now, who could forget when she gave Simon a chance to change her mind? This moment right here shows that Queen Charlotte not only enjoys watching her people tie the knot, but also listens to them, at least on some occasions, like the time she allowed Simon to change her mind about his marriage to Daphne. This was a big character development moment because she gave Simon a chance to plead his case even though she'd shown how uninterested she was at first. It might not sound like a big deal, but it showed that her word wasn't always absolute. And she heard his whole friends turn to lovers story despite wanting Daphne for her own nephew, the nice guy Prince Friedrich. Luckily, something about his profession of love moved her, enough to give them their marriage license and allow a very intimate ceremony. For a queen who loves grand everything, that was pretty novel of her. For a moment, it looks like she recalled her life with the king before he got ill. It was a very subtle, very heartbreaking, and very human moment from her. It's pretty clear by now that Queen Charlotte has a lot of sides to her personality. We've seen her be cunning, unimpressed, and even moved in some moments. But it wasn't until their moment in season 2 that we saw her Royal Highness being downright mean, referring to her little chat with Eloise in episode 7. Harmony, an ironic name we know. When the queen's convinced that Eloise Bridgerton is in fact Lady Whistledown, she proposes an alliance. It's all fun and games until she outright threatens Eloise that she'd deploy all of her resources to crush her like a serpent if she didn't side with her. As far as royal threats go, that was pretty damning. And now for when she intimidated Lady Danbury. For a drama set in a time when women needed chaperones to step out of their homes, Bridgerton sure does have a lot of women who don't take BS from anyone, and Lady Danbury comes close to the queen there. She's smart, witty, fiercely independent, and likes to take a dig at the queen every now and then. But remember the time when Charlotte didn't let her slide at Edwina and Anthony's supposed wedding? Honestly, it was a treat to watch. Lady Danbury flustered when she was blamed for the disaster that day. Nobody messes with the queen and gets away with it. Then there was when she let Edwina decide her own future. We were half expecting the queen to drag Edwina back to the altar herself, just so she could get the wedding she was planning. But her decision to give the young bride the freedom of choice proved that she was capable of more than just lavish affairs. Of course, we're pretty sure Edwina's meeting with the king had something to do with the queen's change of heart. Whatever it was, we're glad that even she understood the importance of true love. And finally, when we saw the queen with her king. After 2 whole seasons, we've gotten used to seeing the queen alone with her subjects. It feels weird to think of her beside a king, her king. But there was this one moment in season 1 that melted our hearts for Charlotte. We saw a completely different version of her highness when the king seemed to be back to his old, loving self at the dinner table, even if it was for just a brief moment. We got a glimpse at what their relationship must be like before the king lost his memory. Judging by the nickname he calls her, we assume it was a pretty happy one at one point. And that about wraps up our video for today, folks. Which of Queen Charlotte's moments is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.